Yeah. What does it really mean to be sober? Sober to what? I don't know the exact definition of what sobriety really means, but it feels like sober is just kind of facing up to a certain type of realistic truth. Then you could also ask, like, what does a drug really mean? I mean, on a different metaphorical sense, anything that you need stimulation for could be likened to a drug. So we don't have to use the context of a drug and how the basic context of, like, we need to do some fucking crack or we need to do some methamphetamines to to get our fix. We're getting our fix as human beings in a various different amount of ways. And with that being said, it's like there's a part of us, there's a seed part of us that is being watered within this, us being the tree of life. Obviously, that's not so obvious. That's going through this, growing pain, birthing process within the new, fertilizer tank of the earth, the new plant pot, the pot plant, which is the earth. The earth could be likened to a metaphorical plant pot, and the weathering and all the different nutrients and nourishment and shit like that. That's the soil and the nutrients. So with that being said, there's a part of us, there's multiple different components of us, obviously, but one part of us is there's this deep esoteric intuition. It's probably even behind intuition, like this deep subconscious. It's like the subconscious behind the subconscious that knows everything. Everybody already knows everything to some sort of percentage degree, and where we have just forgotten based on our unique, cause and effect systems throughout different transitions. A different metaphor of reincarnation is this moment. We're dying every moment, and we're living every moment, and we're dormant every moment, and we're non-dormant and expressive based on where the magnetism and the magnetronics and the electricity of, like, our chart of the conscious beings charges, who, like, from the top down, orchestrate things. Where we're at because of that. So within that, there's a part of us that knows everything already, but we have just forgotten, like I said. And within that forgetting, we're remembering. So, and like, we're never really dead, because it's like a percentage thing. It's like maybe even the person that's supposedly most alive is still dead to a higher God, respectively. But that's a different thing. Right here, right now, it's like the ego craves like a motherfucker. It does. It needs to know. It wants to know for whatever reason. I mean, I'm sure that we could fucking pinpoint it and really see what's under the psychological hood and see why the ego craves like a motherfucker. But that's another different story. The ego needs certain things based on how it's being conditioned. There's different types of conditionings that are happening. One phase of conditioning is, just what we are, as a bio mechanical level, interfaced with our ancestral lineage, interfaced with just the different types of programmings of media that are happening. So when people will say, and even that there's a specific clean, pristine connection to that surface level programming, to just how the psychology likes to conform on different levels, more or less, for motherfucking different reasons, for better or for worse. And people will just catch messages and catch wind based on deep down subconsciously for their own motherfucking comfortability. And for their own motherfucking comfortability, they're just going to say shit, catchphrases, key phrases, because that's what one little component of their motherfucking brain is programmed for. Is to, like, oh, that feels comfortable for the time being. Let's say that. Okay, I'm going to fucking say that. Like, and the examples are fucking endless. Like, one example is slow down. Okay, yeah, slow down. No shit, but that's just one piece of the ingredient for the better pie. You know, I'm all about that better pie. You're about that, you know, surface level pie, which is okay. It's okay. But look at, within the modern times that we're living in, we have to slow down with recognizing what is speeding up. There's other things at an evolutionary speed of rate that are speeding up. So of course, yeah, slow down when you get the chance by all means. But it's not about taking someone else's message with an agenda we have no fucking idea about and then projecting it upon someone else based on to, like, you know, cover up our own, you know, insecurities pretty much. And that's a different cause of anxiety, is just care about yourself. If you care about what other people think, that's a different type of cause of anxiety. This is a mini message because my memory's at 8 minutes. Within the last video, I probably did like a legit constructive 20 hours of just offline podcast based on me rolling, me flowing, and me just fucking capturing what needs to be captured. But the ego craves like a motherfucker. It needs to know. But the real humble, modest challenge, aside from this rhetoric, is just like, you got to read the energy aside from the message, read between the lines and whatnot, is the reality is actually testing us to in a certain type of, I guess, energetic growth to not have, and how that not having is a different type of betterment for, you know, how our ego and our spirit body is going to equalize and get panned out to have a different type of balance, and the life is, you know, doing that. So it's like the ego, it's like sometimes without the need to have, it creates the modesty, and that non-officiality creates the modesty. You know, it creates the modesty for us to actually, like, and that modesty is a subtle key for us to go back into ourselves in different contexts within our karmic, or I don't even really like using that word anymore, within our karmic arrangement, within the reality, to how we're being pulled and pushed and whatnot, and slowing down with recognizing what is speeding up and identifying what is real and what is actually any type of an illusion. For what? For your like real-time modern comfortability. And that modern comfortability will more or less reflect outward as you practice that. But when you're reflecting that inward, that modern comfortability, there's going to be many different casual component tribulations that will challenge that don't want you to think that way, because you're tethered to one, you know, conformed way of conditioning, when there's not just one way of, you know, being conditioned for better or worse. There's many different ways for being conditioned for better or worse. This is a mini video. Have the best life ever.